There's a number of tools in BetAngel that you may not be aware of. There's quite a lot of depth to the product, but we've also got profiling tools, and the profiling tools sit on the top right hand corner of the trading screen. We've got the market overview screen, which tells you what's going on in each individual market. The in-play trader, which is designed to give you a different view of the market and allows you to click to place bets on a graphic rather than the traditional way of clicking on a trading screen. And we've also got Tennis Trader and Soccer Mystic, which are profiling tools for tennis and football, stroke soccer. And to use Soccer Mystic, what you need to do is select a market. We've selected Barcelona v AC Milan tonight, and then you click on the football. And what that does is it brings up this screen. And this screen is designed to allow you to have a look at the match and figure out basically how goals will affect certain odds as the match progresses. So you can see up here we've got a signal strength indicator, and that's at 5, which indicates that there's an acceptable level of data and information that Soccer Mystic can gain about this market. If you have less than 5 bars, then the information is going to be less reliable. And basically that's sort of based upon liquidity really of the underlying markets. So because this is an important Champions League match, liquidity is high. The first screen that you're greeted with here, I'll explain the components of here. This is when goals are scored and who scores them. This is the time within the match. You've also got counters so that you can count up as the match progresses. And then you have the analysis area, which is just below here. You can shrink and move the screen around if you wish. The chart here is showing match odds, and it's showing it in terms of probability because that fits neatly onto one graph. If I switch off 3D, it may be a little bit clearer. But you can see here that Barcelona are expected to win this match. At the start of the match, there's an 80% probability that they will win. And then as the match progresses, the chances of them winning, if there's no goal scored, decreases and eventually collapses to 0. But you can see you can move the crosshairs around and it will give you an estimate of the odds and where those odds are likely to be at some point during the match. So you can see here the scenario in this match is Barcelona and AC Milan drew the first leg 0-0 somehow, and as a consequence Barcelona must score to progress to the next round. But we also have this scenario that if AC Milan score, then that's worth 2 goals. So if we just focus on the home team for the moment, you can see that the odds will decrease as long as they don't score. That makes perfect sense. But if you look at AC Milan, you can actually see here that their odds actually improve the longer there isn't a goal before decaying away to 0. It's probably better to look at this in terms of odds. So if we change this around to an odds graph, you can see that what actually happens with the odds in a match is that actually in the run-up to half-time, if there's no score in the match, then Soccer Mystic is basically saying that the odds will come in. Now some of this depends upon what happens in the match, because obviously if there's a sending off or Barcelona put AC Milan under immense amounts of pressure, then this curve wouldn't be quite as neat. When you look at mathematical curves, they always look beautifully neat, but in fact when you actually go into the match it will be a little bit bumpy depending upon the underlying action. But what this is showing you is that if there's no goal before half time, then it's likely that the odds on AC Milan will come in. The odds on Barcelona will go out, and the odds on the draw will obviously come in as well, because the draw is getting much more likely. So if Barcelona scored after 15 minutes, then we can see how that would affect the odds. And you can see that basically the price would crunch in and then start moving back in again. But of course, Barcelona would need to go on and win this match, and they would need to win this match at least 2-1 to take it to progress to the next stage at this point. So, let's say that they equalise after 20 or maybe 35 minutes, probably more realistic. Then you can see that Soccer Mystic allows you to plot approximately what the odds are likely to do. So it's a useful tool for just getting a better understanding of the way that odds move in a football match, because sometimes they just don't move the way that you'd expect. You can do a plot on the over and under probabilities as well, and that will allow you to do the same thing but looking at the over and unders market. You can see there that's a pretty busy graph, so you can make it as complex or simple as you like. And obviously the key trading points here are levels above or below your entry price. So if we actually put on the Soccer Mystic profit line, what this is telling you is that in this particular scenario, above the line is lay value. In other words, you should have laid at the off, and below the line is back value. So you should have backed before the off. So this is telling you the periods in which you're profitable with either strategy. And you can do the same on the match odds probability. You can also use the counter up here to wind the odds backwards and forwards, which will show you how the odds move during the match. And that applies to match odds over and under. But we also have the correct score market. So if you look, for example, at the odds of 1-all, you can see that they'd be priced around 15 at the start of the match, and then as the match progresses, as we pull that forward, you can actually see that despite the fact that there's no goal, the price on 1-all actually starts to come in, and it will actually continue to come in and then start to move out again. So you can actually pinpoint the rough period of time in which that is about to occur and how that affects your overall strategy. You also have scenario indicators as well, so you can basically say, I back 2.5 goals at the current odds with odds of 100, what are the predicted odds from 25 minutes from now, and so on and so forth. So there's a lot of messing around that you can do, but basically the idea is that when you're active and in a football match, it's just nice to be able to play around with some of the details. And you can obviously do this at no risk and without having the match to elapse in front of you. So being able to just play around and look for how the odds move will lead you on to developing strategies that take advantage of that. Now, it would be great if we knew exactly what was going to happen in a match, but unfortunately we don't. So that's where your judgment comes in when using a tool like this. You experiment with scenarios that you think may occur, and you set yourself up in positions where you say, well, that could occur, and if it doesn't occur, then this will occur, and therefore I will do the following. So it's helpful to guide you in terms of if a certain scenario unfolds during the match, you'll be able to have some precognizant ability to be able to decide what to do at that particular point with some degree of confidence. And that's basically what Soccer Mystic has been designed for. It's designed to give you a bit more confidence when trading on football and allow you to see what the likely scenarios are that could unfold within the match, and that will help improve your trading on football.